Okay, readers, welcome back. So for today's read aloud, we're going to continue our work with building on our comprehensional skills and really focusing on making inferences in the story. But we are going to center, that means focus our inference work today on what we think the characters in the story are feeling. And since we are making inferences and not just predictions, we are going to be looking at the clues in the story and using our schema to support our thinking. But again, we are going to center our work today on the characters' feelings in the story. So for today's read aloud, I chose this book titled Nerdy Birdy by Aaron Reynolds. And in this book, Nerdy Birdy, we learn, you can tell just from the cover that Nerdy Birdy is unlike the other birds. He's not really cool like the other birds. And you can tell that by the title nerdy. That's a word that a lot of us come to know as being used for someone that is not like the other cool kids or like the other cool people. A nerd, from what a lot of us assume, is someone who just isn't cool. That is not true. You can be smart and be cool, but sometimes that's what people think. That's what people assume. And so in this book, Nerdy Birdy, he encounters a few problems at the beginning when he tries to be friends with some of the other quote unquote cool birds. And so we're going to find out what happens at the end of the book. Are you ready? So before we read, let's already start making some inferences based on what we think the characters are feeling. So let's quickly look at the back cover of the book and think, what do you see the characters are doing? Or really, what do you think the characters are doing? What can you infer is going on? Well, if you look at the back cover and then compared with the front cover, I can only assume based on the pictures, based on the clues that I see in the pictures, that these three birds are making fun of Nerdy Birdy. They're teasing him. I don't know why, but I can infer from the pictures and from what that eagle is saying, nerd, that they're making fun of him. So right now, I want you to make an inference based on the clues in the story about what do you think the character is feeling? How do you think Nerdy Birdy is feeling? Can you maybe turn and talk and tell someone at your house if you are reading with someone? How do you think that character is feeling? Or maybe share with them if you've ever felt that way before too. Now, I don't know about you readers, but I have been teased like that before when I was little. And that made me feel very sad and also a little lonely. Like, it made me feel that I didn't belong or that I just didn't have any good friends. Because if I was trying to be nice to someone and they tease me that way, I definitely would feel that. But I don't know, we're going to have to read the story a little bit more to find out more about Nerdy Birdy and his personality and see if maybe those are really accurate predictions or really inferences as to what the character is feeling. Are you ready to keep reading? Okay. Nerdy Birdy, story by Aaron Reynolds, pictures by Matt Davis. I'm hoping I said his name right. Nerdy Birdy, story by Aaron Reynolds, pictures by Matt Davis. And again, just to remind ourselves of what we're going to be doing in this book today, we are really going to be looking at others' feelings in the story and making inferences based off of what we think, the clues in the story, and our understanding of what we already know from the characters in the story and what's happening. Are you ready? This is Nerdy Birdy. His glasses are too big. His wings are too small. Oh, readers, this seems like a really funny illustration. Do you see what it says right there on the T-Rex? Look, it says right there, right under T-Rex, freaky red eyes, weird arms. And he's posing just like the T-Rex. He's allergic to birdseed. When all the other birds are hanging out together at the bird feeder, Nerdy Birdie is scrounging for breadcrumbs. Eagles, cardinals, and robins are the cool birdies. Look at the eagle. Do you see all those labels around its body? It's kind of telling us what makes them quote-unquote cool. Let's see, eagles have wind tunnel tested head shape. They have impressively sculpted chest muscles and abs of steel. I've never heard of a bird having abs before or muscles in that sense either. Let's see, a cardinal has glossy red pompadour. That's like the hair right there on his head. A glossy red attire, also glossy and red. So it's, I guess he's cool just because he's a really colorful bird. Overall, his feathers are really brightly red. And a robin, has beady eyes with superior worm vision and a warm, fed physique. And feet, nothing to do with worms. 3 things eagle is good at. 1, hunting. 2, fishing. 3, football. 3 things cardinal is good at. Singing like a rock star. Posing. Attracting fans. 3 things robin is good at. Picking on worms. Insulting worms. 3, eating worms. 3 things Nerdy Birdie is good at. 1, reading. 2, playing video games. 3, reading about video games. Eagles, cardinals, and robins don't care about reading. Hey guys, I just read the coolest book. Who cares? Bookworm. I eat bookworms for breakfast. Or video games. Hey guys, I just defeated the Earthworm King in World of Warcraft. Who cares? Nerd. I eat real earthworms, not digital ones. One day, eagle flew off to hunt. Robin flew off to terrorize worms. Cardinal flew off to impress fans. And Nerdy Birdie was alone. Oh, readers, right now is a great place for us to do some inferencing work. So let's think about what just happened. The eagle flew off. Robin flew off. Cardinal flew off. They left him all alone. They left Nerdy Birdie by himself. Even though, from what I see, all he was trying to do was just make conversation, talk to them. He was being really polite. And all the 3 of them did was tease him. So I'm wondering, could we do some thinking and imagine how Nerdy Birdie is feeling right now? Could you turn and talk and have a conversation with someone next to you? Think. Have you ever felt the same way Nerdy Birdie might be feeling right now? Okay, let's keep reading. Let's find out what happens next. One thing was clear. It was awfully lonely not being a cool birdie. Oh, I wonder what he's going to do. Why do you hang around with them? Wait, who is asking that question? Where did that question come from? I'm making an inference, another inference right now, readers, based on the illustration and something that I already know, that question is coming from a group of birds. Because do you see how that question is kind of connected to the power lines? Well, one thing I know about birds that I know from my own background knowledge is that a lot of them like to perch themselves on the power lines and they hang around there. So I'm thinking, since this book is mainly about birds, and since I know that fact about birds that they like to perch on the power lines, that question is coming from another group of birds. What do you think? Can you give me a thumbs up if you agree? Let's find out. Let's check our thinking. They don't even like you. But they're so cool, said Nerdy Birdie. Trying to be cool is exhausting, said the new bird. You should hang around with us. Us? I'm looking at his face, readers, at Nerdy Birdie's face right now. Do you see how he's kind of glancing to the side? That's something that I've seen a lot of characters do in other books when they're thinking about something, when they're pondering something. So I'm wondering if this is a clue that the author and illustrator are giving us to make us think that Nerdy Birdie is trying to understand something. Is trying to be thoughtful about what this other bird just said. That trying to be cool is exhausting. I'm wondering if within this illustration, by making Nerdy Birdie glance to the side, that the author is trying to make us understand that Nerdy Birdie is really trying to think hard about what this new bird just said. Us! After all, there's always room for another Nerdy Birdie. Their glasses were too big. Their wings were too small. At least half of them had birdseed allergies. They all liked to read, and most of them liked to play World of Warcraft. They were exactly like Nerdy Birdie. And then he realized something. There were way more Nerdy Birdies than cool birdies, and now they were all his friends. So readers, let's make another inference. Do you think Nerdy Birdie is feeling the same as how he felt on the page before when all the other cool birds flew away? If you think his feelings have changed, turn and talk to the person next to you. If you think his feelings haven't, still turn and talk and explain your thinking. Either way, explain your thinking and talk about with your reading partner, whoever you have at home, as to why you think that. Maybe what clues in the story help support your thinking, or what do you already know from your own background knowledge that helps support your thinking. Okay, let's come together. So I'm thinking, readers, that in this page, or when he said that, when the author wrote and then he realized something, that I'm thinking that Nerdy Birdie is feeling a connection. He's feeling friendship, because before, on the other pages, none of the other birds that he wanted to hang out with liked the same things he did. They teased him about the same things he did. And now he's surrounded by a group of birds that not only like the same things, but have also invited him to join them. So I'm wondering if right now he's feeling like he belongs, like he's surrounded by friends. And so if that is making him feel happy, at least that's what my thinking is leaning towards. Those are some of the inferences that I'm making right now. Ready? Let's keep reading. Okay. Eagle didn't have any friends. Eagle hunted alone. Cardinal was always showing off. He had no friends. Know why? Because he was always showing off. Robin was too obsessed with worms to make friends. One thing was clear. It was awful lonely being a cool birdie. But then, a new bird moved into the neighborhood. Official Hello Birdie lunchbox. The cool birds were unimpressed. Hi guys! She gives me the creeps. Why does she always wear black? It's so depressing. She eats what? The cool birdies flew away and left Vulture alone. Oh, kind of reminds me of what happened when Nerdy Birdie was left alone. Why would you want to hang around with them? Well, this is almost like the same thing that happened at the beginning of the story. Being cool is exhausting. You should hang around with us. Us? Right, readers, this is exactly what happened with Nerdy Birdy. So make a quick inference. Remember, use the clues in the story. Use what you already know and turn and talk and tell the person next to you what do you think is going to happen next. And don't forget to use the clues in the story and what you already know to support your thinking. Ready? Have a quick conversation with whoever's reading the story with you at home. Think, what might happen next? Make an inference. Okay, ready? Let's check our thinking. Us! After all, there's always room for another nerdy birdie. Huh. I'm not sure if his friends feel the same way. Do you see their faces? Right, guys? Oh, readers, they definitely do not feel the same way. Look at their eyes. Look at how they're just kind of glancing in the other direction. It makes me think like they're thinking maybe what's going on inside their heads right now is that they're thinking, what us? Like, what do you mean by us? Surely you're not talking about us. We don't agree with you. That's what their faces are making me think. And do you see Vulture's face? Do you see her eyes, her expression? Do you think the nerdy birdies are going to agree? Because it doesn't seem like Vulture thinks so. Hold it. Where are her glasses? Where is her lightsaber? And have you heard what she eats? Look! She is most definitely not one of us. Nerdy Birdie was confused. But there's always room for another Nerdy Birdie, right? That's the problem. She's not a Nerdy Birdie. She's just weird. Well, that's surprising. I would never have guessed that this is what was going to happen next. I almost thought for sure, based on what we read before, that when Vulture came by, that the nerdy birdies were going to say, yeah, us, and kind of be friendly and invite her over. But now it seems like they're doing the exact same thing that the other cool birds did to Nerdy Birdie. Like, they're excluding her. They're not wanting her to join in. So it's just so surprising to me that this is happening. Do you think it's surprising? Did this line up with what you thought was going to happen? Do you think you can make a quick inference and think about what Nerdy Birdie might be feeling? Do you think he might also be feeling surprised? And think and turn and talk with someone next to you. What makes you think that? Maybe make a connection to how you would be feeling if you were in this same situation. Okay, let's find out. Nerdy Birdie looked at his flock of friends. The telephone wire was packed with them. He looked at the new bird sitting there alone. And one thing was clear. It was awful lonely being alone. So let's find out what Nerdy Birdie does next. This is Nerdy Birdie. His glasses are too big. His wings are too small. This is Vulture. She wears contact lenses. Her wings are enormous. Vulture eats dead things. Nerdy Birdie does not. Nerdy Birdie likes video games. Vulture does not. Nerdy Birdie and Vulture don't like all the same things, but they really like each other. If you ever need a friend, you can hang around with them. After all, there's always room for another Birdie. Hi! So readers, I want us to do some last bit of thinking and do some more inference work on these last few pages and think about why Nerdy Birdie chose to be friends with Vulture. He had a larger group of friends before, the ones who like playing World of Warcraft and like playing like other types of video games, and who were really similar to him. But he chose to ignore those friends and befriend Vulture. I want us to do a little bit of thinking and think again as to maybe why he did that. And remember, when we're making inferences, we're using the clues in the story and what we already know to help support our thinking. So turn and talk and tell someone next to you, why do you think Nerdy Birdie might have done that? Okay, let's come together in 3, 2, 1. So readers, I'm thinking some of you might have said that maybe Nerdy Birdie chose to be friends with Vulture because he knew, or he was at least able to understand how maybe she was feeling. And if you said that, then you just did some amazing connections, because that skill, that ability to understand how other people are feeling and make connections to other people's feelings is called empathy. And empathy is exactly that. It's having the ability to understand how others are feeling, make a connection to other people, and do something about it. And that's exactly what Nerdy Birdie did. Again, he knew exactly how it felt to be lonely. He knew exactly how it felt when other birds just ignored you or teased you or like didn't want to be close to you. And so he made the decision purposely to not let Vulture feel that way. And that, I think, is amazing, that he was empathetic, that he had that ability to connect with her and try to make her feel better. Okay. Well, thank you for doing such amazing work with me today. I can't wait to work with you again tomorrow. And for tomorrow, there's actually a part 2. There's Nerdy Birdie tweets. So if you like this story, then don't forget to watch the video tomorrow because it's sort of a part 2. Okay? Bye-bye.